Hello, so this is going to be the 12,000 mile service on the V85. We'll just go around it. There's not going to be an awful lot in this one here. Nothing's really changed since the last time. There's no real modifications as such from the last time, so there's nothing different on the actual bike. So this will really just be a recap or a chat about one of the major things that went wrong with the bike in between the last service and this service that I'm going to talk about. So stick with me and enjoy the intro, and I'll back to you soon. Alright, see you then. Bye. Back again. So now to the bike. Nothing's really changed. Tires is probably the major change from the last time I did the interview, because I had the Dunlop Trail Smarts I think on the last time. It's now got TKC 80s, a full set of TKC 80s on now. They've been on for 4,300 miles, something like that. So the rear is, I don't know if that'll pick up or not, but there's still 3 or 4 mil. I don't even know if there's any actual wear marks. In the middle. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but in the middle of the tire, it's 2-3 mil, couple of mil. As far as the tyres go, I think I already mentioned these are TKC 80s. A fantastic tyre. I would put this tyre back on the bike again. On road, it's brilliant. I think I did it the last time. Yeah, it's already scratched the nuts off the thing, so you can lean it right over. I don't know if that'll pick it up, but you can see how far over I can get right onto them knobs there, because that's as far as the wear line is. So you're well over on the tire on the actual side knobs. So, and I've never once felt the tire slide out or give me any kind of scare. I will say it's, I guess, I don't know if you call it, I'm no journalist, it's a progressive. You can feel when the tire's getting a wee bit squirmy, you can feel it just, it's not letting go, but you can just feel the bike communicating to you that it's, you're on your limits here, don't be pushing it too much more. You can feel that, and maybe that's in part down to, I don't know, maybe the MOTO GUZZI suspension's decent enough. I get good feedback from the tires. I can feel when they're starting to be pushed, or when they get too warm. They'll maybe get, on a really hot day, you can feel them get just that wee bit of chewing gum sort of effect on them. So that's the tires. No point talking much more about that. So I think I'll start again the way I did in the last one. I'll just start in the front. I'll work my way around. If there's anything new, anything I need to talk about, we'll talk about it. So screen's the same. Headlights, riding lights, everything's the same. Bark busters, all the same. One thing I'll talk about when I get round is, it only arrived yesterday, so it's only just wired into the USB, is the new CarpView ride, which I bought myself. I wasn't lucky enough to be one of the journalists or YouTubers that got one given to them, so sadly I had to buy it myself. So front hasn't changed. Again, brakes. Oh well, there's new brake pads. I put new brake pads in the front and the rear, and you can see the bronze on the copper slip on the brake pads. New brake pads. The motor, gearbox, and bevel drive have all had new oils. That's all been done for this big trip we're going to do in Europe. So while I'm on that, if you haven't already subscribed, hit that bell icon as well, because we're going on a 16-day Europe trip down through France, Italy, Switzerland, Austria, Germany, sort of Black Forest, and then we're coming back home via the Netherlands. It's going to take us 16 days. So if you haven't already and you're interested in the trip, subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you get the notifications whenever I put the videos live, whenever I get back. It's kind of way I want to do this review now, because we're leaving in about I think it's a week and a half's time, so there'll be no videos for almost 3 weeks, I guess, if you count the 16 days and then all the time it'll take to get through all the footage and edit up decent enough YouTubes. So it's probably going to be 3 weeks before I get anything out again. So yeah, like I said, subscribe and hit the bell icon and you'll get the notifications. Back to the bike again. Brakes, yes, brake pads has changed. The bark busters is still there. Nothing else here. I think I touched on the last time the MOTO decap pipe that I got the last time. Giving it a bit of a clean, nice welding on it. These SW Motec pegs, as you can see, really beefy. Fantastic grip when you're wearing the I Have a City Adventure 2 boots, and the sole's quite grippy in those, so it really locks into these grips on the top of the peg. They're also, I don't know if I'll pick it up, maybe if I go underneath, you can see they're adjustable as well. You can see that hole there, so you can raise them. I have them on their lowest point at the minute because it's more for comfort. This trip to Europe is going to be all on road. There'll be no off road, so I have them set to the lower setting. But great pair of pegs, great, very comfortable. As you can see, a broad a platform for your foot to stand on. You can stand for a very long time on them. So that's the only new part, I think, on the bike. Suspension, nothing's changed in the suspension. I will say now, while I'm around here and I see something on the suspension, this bike's got 12,000 miles. I've ridden it over 2 winters. Yes, it's always ACF 50'd. I've now actually moved to XCP. I'm going to try it. But while I'm on this side, I'll talk through, I guess XCP, nothing, I guess, is that good that it's going to stop your bike from corroding over a winter riding, and we get a lot of salt on our roads in the winter. So you can see here, if you'll pick it up, the metal adjuster has corroded. I can't get that off. I guess you could what is it they call it? It's like an electrolysis. It's like an electrolysis thing, I think they do. Can't remember the name of it. Is it anodizing or something? You could maybe do that on it. You can see here the paint on the bevel drive has started bubbling and flaked off, in a few spots. So things like that there, you're not going to be able to protect the bike completely. I think some of these nuts, yeah, so this nut here you can see it's got quite rusty. Even the brake discs rusting slightly in there too. But here, you buy them to ride them, so it is what it is. But I don't know, this year I might not ride it through the really salty period. So it's usually a couple, 3-4 months of the year we'll get lots of salt in the road. So I'll see. I might refrain from riding it too much through the salt. I rode it an awful lot through last winter. because I don't want it to look, I want to keep this bike for a long time. I don't want it to turn into some sort of rat bike, nasty looking thing, you know. So, oh, this here too, this one extra while I'm around the back here. So I got this, I think it's a Gamma Zenkin roll bag rack, more to give me more tie downs and give me a wider footprint for the bag to sit on because of for the trip. These here are the quick release I guess holders for the actual Givy racks. I've got the quick release ones. That's the other thing where it locks into there and then it locks into here. Really good. I love the quick release mechanism because I'm one of those people that likes my bike to stay clean, look as it is, without I hate leaving the hoops on the bike. I don't like what it looks like. There's a person stopped by there to talk to me, a cyclist. Thought I'd maybe broken down. So that's it. There's nothing new extra. The bike kind of is at the point now where I'm happy with it. I don't need or want anything else for it. It looks good in my opinion. It goes okay. It goes well actually now with a new map in it. Yeah, it's all I want really. So I don't think I'll really purchase anything else for it. So probably when I get to the 18,000 mile service, which might not take long because this Europe trip we're going to do 2,500 to 3,000 miles roughly. One thing I will say while I'm around here, and I've just spotted it, I don't know if you can see in here, there's a bracket. There's not normally a bracket. Mass Moto weld on. I don't know if we'll be able to see. You might be able to see in there now, there's a wee bracket welded on there. Well, the bracket down there broke off only after about 4 months, so very disappointed about that. And I actually emailed them and wasn't super impressed with the reply. I know, I appreciate they're in Italy. I'm in Northern Ireland, it's not exactly handy, but they were like, kind of washed their hands of it. There's nothing we can do, you're in another country sort of thing. I guess they can't, so I suppose they were right in a way. But what I'm saying is I'm very disappointed in the quality of the welds. It should be, their excuse was it's on a V-twin motorbike that, even more so a MOTO GUZZI that vibrates and the engine's quite not as silky smooth as a 4-cylinder. That was kind of their excuse, which in my opinion is not an excuse because they should know these are pipes for a V85 and they should be making the welds robust enough to hold up to the vibrations that the bike would have. Oh, one more thing. Well, you know what? We'll get on to. Oh, here I've actually got this. Here's an extra I've got, so I'll show you this. So this is my new tank bag. Sit there, and as you see, I have mounted my drone holder. It's a quad lock for a bicycle. So I've drilled through the lid and I've stuck it on with sugaru and tied it down in underneath with wires, so it's not going anywhere. So my drone control will sit here whenever I'm videoing with the drone, and this bag holds the drone inside. So I haven't got the control here, the control's sitting out of shot here, but everything fits inside. The control sits here, the drone sits there, spare battery sits in there. You've got the waterproof bag in here and another bit of room. I usually put like my power banks in here. So good solid bag. This is the one that you can lock. So you can put that in there and then you can lock it so it can't be opened, and then it's around the other side. There's a key. You can actually lock it onto the bike, so it'll not stop a proper thief, but it'll stop an opportune one. I only keep the drone in there, and whenever I'm actually out riding, I usually take it out and put it into its own bag whenever I'm walking about, so it's never left on the bike while I'm walking about. So that's the only other extra. And carburide, I got it. I'm just going to fire up here. Yeah, I got it yesterday, so I'll probably do a review at some point in time on it, even though I bought it myself. I've not had a chance to play with it. I'm not 100% sure how it all works, but I'm sure I'll get there eventually. But that's the newest addition to the bike for yesterday. As you can see there. Oh, let me turn it back on again. All the warnings. So if you've been watching any of the other videos, I was off-road there for a minute, so I've actually got the off-road setting on, so there's no more warnings. Everything's out. These lights flash normally until you start the bike and move off. This here engine light stays on until you start moving. I don't know if it's a MOTO GUZZI thing, but everything's fixed, everything's working. So the bike's back to full working order again. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, the problem that I had. So as you'll all know, the bike wasn't well there for nearly 5 weeks. I didn't get riding for nearly 5 weeks. When I changed the oils, as I mentioned earlier, I went out for a ride, and sod's law, as it turns out, the potentiometer in the throttle here gave up. Can happen. It's happened. My mate's 1250 GS throttle literally just goes, and there's not a thing you can do about it. It went into limp mode like his did, but I didn't know that was it at the time. It could have been the throttle bodies, which are way down inside here in this area here, just after this pipe. Could have been those, but as it turns out, it was the potentiometer in the throttle bodies that was the problem in the end up. But in that search to try and find how to fix whatever it was, I actually changed. You can see it in there, that brass nut. That's the oil temperature sensor. So as I still have the cold start issue, or it's not really a cold start issue, because even there today it's 15 degrees, it's not a cold day, and the bike still took 5 attempts to get it to go. So it's a choke issue. Something's not telling the bike how to start, and it's intermittent. Sometimes it starts properly and it'll do what it's supposed to do. So I don't know what it is. I'm going to wait till I come back from Europe, and then I'll take it to the mechanic that I found. He's an Italian specialist apparently, and he knows what he's talking about, because when you're talking to him about the bike, you can tell he knows what he's talking about. So I'm going to take it to him and get him to plug it in and see if he can figure out what's actually wrong with it, or if it probably needs our new part here. Anyway, but it's running. It works. It's going to work for the trip, so that's the main thing. It's all up and running, and I'm happy. When it's actually up to temperature, it runs really, really well. So it seems to be just a starting issue, not a running issue. So yeah, so back to the bike. So I replaced the oil temperature sensor, replaced the oil pressure sensor, and that was the one that was actually broken. So we weren't sure, or I wasn't sure, which sensor was broken, and because I had the cold start issue, because it all started back in January when it was actually cold, so I always thought it was a cold start issue, I replaced the temperature sensor, because we thought that the bike's ECU was getting the temperature settings to set the choke or the throttle bodies for that temperature. So I changed it first. That didn't fix it. So I thought, right, okay, I'll change this one, and that actually fixed the dash lights, the actual engine warning that was on the red dash flash. I also changed, it's probably around here, it's in behind here, that's the wee oil catch on that wee thing there is the oil catch on the airbox, and in front of it, it's just behind these fins, is an air temperature sensor that's in front of the throttle body. So I changed it as well, thinking that could have been it. No, didn't make any difference. So I've changed all the sensors, so they're all new, and it's not fixed the problem. So that's it. The silver lining, I guess, in the whole thing is I ended up getting the MOTO GUZZI heated grips while I was at it, and these were actually cheaper than the ordinary set I had pre-ordered from a company in Motor Inn or something you call them, Motard Inn, and I ordered something else from them, and it took like 4 weeks to come, and I didn't really realise that I was ordering off them until I had them ordered and I was sitting at home because I ordered them on my phone. I ended up cancelling them because they still, after 8 days, still hadn't left for postage. So I cancelled them and I bought these off Goreshi Moto, actually, who do the up maps. So I got these off them for £220. So basically £220 fixed the bike. And I got the heated grips instead. So these are the OEM MOTO GUZZI heated grips. Came with both grips. So, and they're wired into the bike, and the switch works. I had the Chinese, you'll remember from the last review, I had the Chinese grips on. They still worked with the switch, but they weren't very hot. These are actually quite hot. I'm happy enough with them now. That's it. Bike's running. It's working. We're going to Europe. I'm going to enjoy it. And yep, this bike's forever. It's not going anywhere. Yeah, it gives me trouble, but I'm a sucker for an Italian. I've had 3 Ducatis. I was considering an Aprilia before this, one of the Touareg 660s. So the V85's going nowhere. It's going to stay in my garage. If anything, if I ever had the money, I would get another smaller, lighter bike, more for the off-road, like an Enduro, maybe an MT 450 or something along those lines. One of those new CF motos, but the V85's going nowhere. Give me headaches, but here, what bike doesn't, I guess, really. So with that, I'm going to go and I'm going to pack up and get ready for going to Europe. So with that, I'll see you at the 18,000 mile service, and I'll see you before that with the videos from Europe. As I said earlier, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications. Alright, see you later. Bye bye.